My name is Aarti Parikh. I'm a software engineer out of San Francisco, and I've been writing Go for 2 years or so. Before that, I wrote Ruby and Java. And today, I'm presenting on A Tale of Two Chat Servers. So this is not working. OK. The features, I want a basic chat server. I want to broadcast a message to all users. And I wanted to send a direct message to at least one user in my project. And I wanted it to be fast and reliable. So 2 ways to do it. I thought I can do it with the traditional TCP sockets using the GoNet package, because why not? We can do it in Go. I hadn't written TCP sockets for a long time, since college, when I was writing C. The other way I thought we could do it is using message queues and Kafka. So why did I do it? Because I wanted to learn the net TCP package, and also we are using Kafka at work, and I wanted to get a good understanding of topics and how they all work. So demo, I'll jump into my message queue demo. And here I have Kafka running locally, Zookeeper, Kafka Schema Registry, and Kafka REST. I will run the chat server. I don't know, should I increase the font? Probably. So I run the chat server here. And in the second window, I have a chat client. And that is my name, Aarti, which I'm having some problems here with running it. Sorry. Sorry about that. So anyway, it runs pretty nicely. I just did the demo 2 minutes ago, but something happened while practicing, which always happens. So I'll jump straight into the code. So the code uses the Confluent Kafka Go libraries. And it uses the librd Kafka as well as the HTTP router. And I have a connection handler that handles connections that are coming from the different users, and I keep all the users in a map. Any direct messages are sent through the Kafka produce message API. And so this was pretty straightforward to write the server, because it's just forwarding messages on to different topics. The chat client was a little harder, because I have a consumer that's polling and listening to the different messages. And the messages, unfortunately, I can't show you, but the messages get dumped on the screen as the users talk to each other. I was also taking user input on the standard input and send messages to all servers, to all clients, or just to a direct message to a single user. So that was, that was the Kafka part. And now I'm going to jump into the code for the. That was the code review. And the takeaways, I thought it was very nice to get this running. The overhead of running Kafka was a bit of a pain. Kafka REST is a little slow, so I had to use Confluence Go Kafka library, which has a CGO dependency. So that was, so that makes your binary a little bit, your deployment a little bit tricky. The design I used was I had, each user would get a topic. So for example, I think at that part, I have this. I can show that here, that I had different topics for the different users. And as messages get routed, they get routed to each user on that topic. So is that the right way to do it? I don't know. Should there be a broadcast topic? I was wondering about that design. And those were some of the things. I also found that there's a nice tool, Kafka Cat, which is similar to Netcat for sockets, which is, was helpful in troubleshooting when I was coding this. The second was TCP sockets, which was done, very differently, where I had to use the socket server was mostly, written with. I had to have a session for each of the connections, and reader and writer to read off the TCP sockets, and I was passing messages on the channel. And I have to make sure that I can, kill, any connections that drop. So it was a lot more overhead and then to build this. And the reader and writer, as you can see, is, taking a lot of, overhead and understanding where, the state of the system is. The broadcast piece would read messages off a buffered channel and then broadcast, collect them in the server, and then transfer them to the different users. The client was a little bit tricky because I had to somehow figure out how it identifies itself as a user, and it's like you have to write some kind of custom protocol to tell the server that you are the user. So I just simply passed in user : in the line, so that made it, that's how I identify myself. There's no authentication. And then just reading and writing, basic messages. So that was that. And the takeaways, you need to handle all the client disconnects. So that was a little bit tricky to make sure that when your server, that you handle all of that yourself. With Kafka, there was no need to worry about that. But also, it doesn't go through Kafka, so it's faster maybe. I didn't measure it. The Go standard, in using all Go standard libraries, there are no, there are no dependencies at all that are out of that. So, but you can. The trouble is you can't save the messages. So if your clients come back later, you've lost the message. You only keep it for as long as you have the buffer, as long as however big your buffer is. And also, you need a way to groom the stale clients. So I had a groom, Go routine that did that. Because otherwise, your cache of sessions keeps growing. It was harder to write, but easier than socket programming in C. So thanks. That's my talk, and thank you for listening.